Okay, so let's take a look at what our opponents are thinking. So this article is from the Global Times. For those of you who don't know the Global Times, that's a PRC outlet. I think, and this is just my informed opinion, it's probably at least, I would say, 80% government funded, but I'm not an expert. I'm just letting you know. So, this is what they think in terms of us solidifying, securing our supply chains. So, if you can read this with me, so US President reportedly to launch a 12 billion critical mineral stockpile. And then here we have their experts saying that what we are doing so that this decision to stockpile critical minerals. So what they're saying is reconstructing our supply chain can hardly be achieved through simple or superficial measures. Um, so what we are doing, so getting the stockpile, so building the stockpile is not, that's not the whole supply chain. So this is a little bit, misleading, but okay, let's go with that. So they are aware that we have problems in our supply chain. Everyone knows that. The president knows that, President Trump. And so I'm not going to read the whole article. I'm just trying to see where, see if there's something that we can actually end with, something that we can take home. Okay, so let's see. So we have an opinion from a research fellow at the Chinese Academy of Social Sciences, if you can see that right here. Um, what is this person saying? Okay, so this is actually this is something that we can look at. So current production levels in the US and its allies are far from sufficient to meet the required demand. So procurement for this plan is likely to represent a significant challenge. Now, we all know that, and that's why the president, he is so not him specifically, but the fund is, I see here it's 12 billion US dollars. And I'm sure that there's actually there was a press conference about that today. So again, we go back to current production levels in the US are far from sufficient to meet required demand. We know that. So procurement for this plant is likely to present a significant challenge. We know that. We know what lies ahead. And then here he says, and this is still our expert from what university? The Chinese Academy of Social Sciences, as you can see here. So this expert here says, and this is something that I have highlighted and others, experts within this space have as well. So our constraints are more in terms of processing. We can get the ore, we can stockpile the ore, we need to process it because absorb, we cannot absorb the the raw materials as is. It has to be processed. So far, the processing industry is not in the United States, and they know that. So they say here, um, we are constrained by production capacity and execution capability. We so they're saying we don't have any processing capability. That's valid as well, and we all know that too. So here they say current U.S. effort remain at the preliminary stage of throwing money at exploration and mining, which is still important because that's one part of the whole problem. So, throwing money at a problem is actually, it's better than not having money to throw at a problem, but I just want you to understand how you can choose to look at a problem. So at the very least, we do have capital at our disposal. Capital can be deployed as a weapon, right? So here they're saying that we're going to throw mo money at a problem, which is fine. And then let's see what it says here. The real challenge in reconstructing America's rare earth supply chain lies in acquiring advanced technology and scaling up production capacity. Two fundamental issues that cannot be resolved through simple or superficial measures. Okay, and then there's more commentary here. And then, so here we have a comment that says it will take us decades to deal with this problem, right? And let's see if there's anything more that we can use. Okay, so what they're saying is there's a problem. We are not up to the task. We don't have the capacity to process whatever we stockpile. That's valid. However, let's think about this problem this way. So stockpiling, that's one part of the problem. We're going to need technology, and that's what they also say here. We need technology so that we can have the processing capabilities, and we need to be able to scale our capabilities. Now, when I read this article, because technically this is an article from the opposing team, right, guys? The opposing team lets us know that we cannot do something, right? Because the hurdles are insurmountable, and if we are ever in a position, or if we ever get to the point where we want to be in terms of the critical supply chain of America, it will take us decades. That's fine. So we're not expecting this fight to be resolved within a year, 2 years, 3 years. Anything that's worth having takes time to get in the first place. For example, if you're a small business owner in America, you probably have heard that most businesses don't make it, or most new businesses don't make it past year 5. So if you start a business in America, 50% of the business owners that start a business today, right? 50% will not make it to year 2. So that's, that's very competitive. And then if you make it to year 2, chances of you being here at still operational at year 5 are still lower. So when the Global Times tells me that we are not going to be okay, so first, if they tell me that we are not really looking at the problem, I would say that's not true. Yes, we're stockpiling, but having the raw materials is actually part of the supply chain problem, because if we build capabilities and we don't have any raw materials to run through the new processing facilities that we've built, then we really have nothing. So having significant stockpile, that's still a good step. So they're telling us it's going to take a long time. Okay, we all knew that. They tell us that we're throwing money at the problem. Okay, at least we have money to throw. Um, and also to close it all, right? They're letting us know that it will take a long time, right? And that's fine. Because as you all know, American industry, so we are competitive, and so the fear of failure is actually not something that we should. Most business owners, most entrepreneurs, you wake up every day, there's a chance that you will fail, and that's okay. So that's part of being in business. That's part of being an entrepreneur. So sometimes I do like to read what they have on here because it lets me know what the opponent is thinking. And even though this is, I would say, significantly funded by the government, so meaning this could have a degree of a psyop, um, disinformation, misinformation, to let us know that we're, if the fight is really going to be that hard, is it even worth it? Is it worth trying to become independent, um, as American companies? And I'm going to let you know that it is 100% worth it. And in fact, the community agrees, the business community, the Trump administration agrees. So, yes, we might fail. And not just once or twice, we might fail a few hundred times, maybe even thousands of times. Also, it will take us a long time. That's totally fine. If 1,000 of us get into this race, chances are one of us, one American company is going to be able to rise to the challenge and actually set up a processing slash refining capability that can be adopted by other companies faster, right? So, not to worry about what they're saying, right? Not a big deal. It's going to be hard. Whoop-de-doo. That's not something that we're going to shy away from. So if you're ever interested in the critical mineral supply chain issue, and if you're watching this video and you think that you can be of service, not just in terms of providing a good advisory service, or if you want to fill an executive role within Terra Ledger, we do have open seats. So just reach out to me and let's talk and see where it goes. So I just wanted to share this with you guys. So that article is from today, and it is titled, right? U.S. President reportedly to launch 12 billion critical mineral stockpile. And our opponent is saying that reconstructing the supply chain can hardly be achieved through simple or superficial measures. All right, guys. So just letting you know. My name is Claire Sengyuba, and this is just a little bit about what else is going on in the world. If you have never heard of an outlet called the Global Times, go ahead and find it. See what your opponent thinks, right? And just use the criticism constructively. All right, guys, that's all I got.